Hello. This is an unusual video for this channel. This is about the movie Wicked, but we're not actually giving a review of Wicked. We already did that in this video, which I'll link up there, above Megan's head. Okay, this is the second time we saw Wicked. However, what we really want to talk about in this video is our experience of seeing Wicked, again, for the second time, in Germany. So we are currently filming this video from our hotel in Munich, Germany, and we just saw Wicked for the second time here in Munich. And we want to tell you about our experience of going to the movie in Germany. We are actually on the ballroom level, just above the lobby, and so we're kind of talking quietly.
And if there's exterior noises from other people,
it's people in the lobby downstairs. Okay, first with the movie, just in general.
Well, first, we did see the movie in English.
Yes,
we didn't see it in German. We saw it again in English.
We saw the original version in English, which was an option at this very large, very modern theater in Munich, right in the center of the middle of Munich, and it was a big, modern, nice theater in like kind of a city mall complex. Like a mall. Okay, what I want to share with you mainly is the experience of what it was like to go to a movie here in Munich. Now, there's two things that we always like to do when we travel internationally, because it kind of helps us get a sense of how our countries compare in popular activities that almost anybody would do wherever you live. One is we try the McDonald's. We visited McDonald's in London, we visited McDonald's in Paris, we visited McDonald's in Lucerne, Switzerland. Whenever we go to another country, we always visit the McDonald's because that's a nice standard that everybody's familiar with to kind of compare how the difference is. And then the other thing we like to do, because as is evident on this channel, is we like to go to the movies a lot. So since we go to the movies a lot and we know what the movie-going experience is like in the United States, we like to go to the movies when we visit other countries so that we can compare the experience to what we know from home. So this was an example of that. We are planning to see another movie in a couple days at a smaller, more independent theater. It's actually in the morning, on a Sunday morning. And it's also a movie that we've already seen. It's Conclave. So, and again, we're going to be seeing it. No, actually, I think that one is in German.
I thought you said it was going to be in Italian.
Well, the movie is mostly in Italian anyway. I'll be curious. I might do another video for that because it might be in German / that movie's in a lot of languages, actually.
There were a lot of points in the movie when we saw it the first time, the English original version, where the characters spoke in Italian. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that with the German version.
Yeah, and if you don't know, if you aren't aware, when they show versions of movies in other countries than where they were made, like a US made movie in Hollywood or whatever, that's shown in other countries, which is, by the way, where Hollywood makes most of their money, is when movies are shown internationally. There are completely different actors who are assigned to that actor. Actors know who plays them in other countries. So like if, ask Matt Damon, they'll sometimes meet
your voiceover
they'll meet their voice person in other countries sometimes. And that's kind of fun for them. And sometimes they don't like them because they'll think, this person sounds nothing like me, why did they pick them or whatever. So I'll be curious if that movie is in German. I'll be curious to hear like what Ray Fiennes and Isabella Rossellini and those people sound like. But this one we did see in English. Okay, so a few things that I wanted to point out to you about how the experience was different than what it was in the United States. Okay, as far as the movie theater itself, was basically the same as we've seen in some big cities. It was a very nice modern movie theater. I don't know if it was new or if it had just been renovated. It was multi-story, escalators inside.
I guess the movie theater in particular, but a lot of the stuff we've encountered in Germany is very, very clean.
Yes.
So either it was recently renovated or they just keep it very clean.
Every place you go in Munich at least is spotless. So that was one thing. It was very clean. The theater was really clean when we walked into it, the hallways, everything. Now we messed up. We didn't realize, we caught that we weren't supposed to throw glass bottles. They served alcohol and they had stuff in glass bottles. Lots of beverages here in Germany are served in glass bottles. which we don't really use in the U.S. anymore at all.
No, not really.
Except for big bottles of wine and stuff. That's you don't see much plastic. Yeah,
which isn't good, but
but they use a lot of glass here, and we caught that we weren't. It said stop. It didn't even say what's stop in German.
It didn't say it in German. It said
stop in English on the garbage cans. They didn't want you to throw your glass bottles in the trash. We didn't have any glass bottles, but we didn't catch until after we threw our other stuff away that there was a whole separate rack with with trays to put your plastic
popcorn bags,
cups and everything
the
in.
Cups were a very specific type of plastic.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they
recycle them or something.
Yeah, weren't supposed to be trashed.
And so I feel kind of bad because we didn't realize that until after.
But a lot of people were putting their trash in the
yeah,
same
not
place
just
we
us.
did.
So yeah, it was. You didn't really catch that right away that you were supposed to put the stuff over there. So whoopsie.
Well, you know why? I wonder if because we saw the movie in English, there were a lot of other American
and English speakers,
people
British
there.
people or Australians
and so they
or something.
Read the notice on the trash,
right?
Just like we couldn't.
So okay, the movie theater itself was the same. There was a box office. Mm-hmm. Now here's something interesting. We've been kind of joking this whole trip that we have not really been running into the so-called German efficiency.
Yeah.
It's actually been very inefficient.
Yeah.
Lots of delays with transportation, queues taking a really long time. Everything just seems kind of slow. Mm-hmm. And this was the same. There was a very long line at the box office, and this was a Thursday afternoon. Finally, there were two people. Now, I could tell that one of the box office people was more efficient and capable than the other. So I got in her line. And then while I was standing in the queue, Megan washed her hands, and then went and stood in the concessions line. And she actually ended up having to let people go ahead of her.
Like 3 parties go ahead of me because the concessions line was very efficient
and very fast.
And I had to, I didn't know what Mom and Ben wanted.
Right.
So if I had gotten up to the counter, I wouldn't have been able to order.
So she had to let people pass her because we were in the queue for the tickets so long. While I was in the queue, a third employee came out and opened up another box office window and divided the line up even more because they must have realized, oh, we're really busy. We need to get more people out here. But I realized once I got up to the line, up to the cashier, the box office person, it wasn't her that was inefficient. It was the customers, most of whom were German. They were taking like forever to figure out what time or what movie they were going to, what seats they wanted. You had to pick your seats, getting their money out. I don't know. They were just all
They weren't planning ahead.
Yeah, they were really slow. And I was extremely efficient.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what I wanted. First I asked her in German if she spoke English. She said, yes, she said a little bit. And I said, 3 tickets, screen 2, Wicked in English. Mm-hmm. And she knew exactly what I wanted, and she just confirmed the time with me. She said the 5 o'clock, and I said, yeah. And then she asked me where I wanted my seats, and I wasn't picky, and Ben picked right away, and he was like, yeah, that's good. And I actually was very happy with our seats.
Yeah, I liked
our seats were really good.
The only thing was, the screen was curved outwards toward us.
Yeah,
so
that was weird.
There were a couple times where there were things we were all the way on this side of the theater, and there were a couple times where there were things on this side of the screen that were darker because
of the way the screen curved. Yeah. There was a special section. We were all the way to the back with a wall behind us, but up above and behind us, there was maybe like some kind of extra pay section with like reclining seats with footrests and stuff.
But the footrests, they weren't full reclining chairs.
They were like separate.
Attached.
It was like ottomans. And at first we were excited because we thought we were going to get seats like that. And then we realized that's not where our seats were. Our seats were down in the main part. The seats were not very comfortable.
They were okay. I've had better.
They were quite narrow and very straight up and down. Yeah. They did not lean back at all. I mean, the leg room was okay.
But the arms were, again, curved.
Yeah.
And so, like, the arm only went, like, here. And then, like, if we wanted to set we set our napkins there, and they kept falling off.
Yeah, they kept sliding down. And the cup holders were really low.
Yeah.
Like, way down, like, by your leg. and the lids came off really easy, and so we had to like pick up our cups like with two hands so that we wouldn't spill them, and so you're like basically like leaning down to pick up your cup. Yeah. But that was just a fluky thing probably with that theater. But they had all the same snacks and everything that we had, you know, popcorn, soda.
The only snacks that were different were some of the candy selections.
But we got M&Ms.
Yeah.
We got plain M&Ms and crispy M&Ms. The popcorn is different than what we have in the U.S. It's this weird round stuff.
It's puffy.
We've had it before. I've had it
Yeah.
maybe in London.
I've had popcorn like that.
Yeah.
It's like the popcorn that's used to make caramel corn in the U.S.
Yeah. And when we ordered the popcorn, he asked, do you want salty or sweet? So I said salty, but sweet, Ben asked, what does he mean sweet? And we said it would be like what we would call kettle corn. So just know that that's probably an option if you go to the movies in a different country. But the soda was the same. They had Coke products. And they also had ice cream. Megan got a little thing.
A whole tub of ice cream options. I got a thing of Ben and Jerry's.
But yeah.
Little tiny.
Oh, and on the screens up above the concession stand, they had everything, all the different combinations you could possibly get were up there. And the guy working at the concession stand, like Meg said, was extremely efficient and fast, and actually got a little annoyed with us, like German people do, because we didn't get out of there quick enough. Like, you know, I was trying to like pick everything up and get my wallet back in my purse and
cups,
stuff.
Like,
yeah, and he's like, get out of here, you know. So they really don't like you to dawdle.
Yeah. But they don't care if their trains dawdle.
Right. There were a lot of ads, all in German. Yeah.
There were ads, and then previews, and then more ads,
which I had not seen before. I thought once the previews started, that was it, and then the movie was going to start. Nope. There were more ads after the previews. We did agree, Ben and I said to each other, they're not as good as in the UK. If you ever go to a movie in the UK, we didn't get to make, I didn't have this channel yet when we were in the UK last. I love going to the movies in the UK. They have the best ads. They're like Super Bowl ads in America. They're that funny. And they have absolutely fabulous previews for a whole bunch of movies that we're never going to get to see because they only come out in the UK. There were also a number of movies at this theater. I mean, they had Mufasa,
Moana 2.
Wicked, Moana 2.
Paddington in Peru.
But that isn't out yet. Gladiator 2. You know, lots of stuff we have out right now in the United States. And then they had some movies that only came out in Germany that we wouldn't get in the United States, so stuff we had never heard of. But otherwise, the movie-going experience after the ads and the previews, the movie itself, everything was the same. Like we said, we saw it in English. I will say, I don't think I caught anything.
I caught a couple things, but nothing huge.
I watched a bunch of YouTube videos after we saw it the first time about like little Easter eggs and things in there, and so I was noticing that stuff, but it wasn't anything like earth-shattering or anything. I enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time I saw it. I liked the movie a lot, but I was kind of watching the reactions of the German people in the theater. There were a good number of people in there. We were in a big theater.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 3 things I noticed. Number 1, they're very quiet during the movie. Okay, they're very, very quiet during the movie. We didn't have to worry about anybody singing the songs.
They weren't even eating popcorn.
It's like they weren't even moving.
Yeah.
It's like they were all holding their breath.
It's like we were the only people in the theater.
Nobody was whispering to each other. Nothing. They were all just like transfixed. Okay, but along with that, they didn't laugh at the funny parts. They didn't react at all to stuff that if we were seeing it for the first time, we would have reacted to, or Americans would have reacted to.
We even reacted this
time. Yeah. And the one part that really was noticeable to me was Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth's cameo appearance in the Emerald City. We love that part and think it's hilarious. I looked at the faces of the people around us. I don't think they had any clue who those people were. So I'm pretty sure that they didn't know who they were or what the significance of that cameo was.
Or they're just really good at not
reacting at all. They were all just staring. Like completely expressionless. So that was interesting. Okay, and then along with they're very, very quiet and they don't laugh at things and they didn't know who they were. The other thing is, At the end, though, as soon as the movie ended, oh
No,
my
but
gosh.
at the beginning too, all through the previews,
They were so talkative.
Everyone was so loud and talkative.
I mean, it was just chatter, 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 chatter. But as soon as the movie started playing, silence.
I almost thought I was gonna have to ask the people next to us
to be quiet.
who were like a little older than me, young adults, and drinking, to be quiet during the actual movie.
Because they were so loud.
quiet during the movie.
But then, as soon as the movie ended, everybody was jabbering away, just German. We heard it all around us, like talking about the movie. Okay, and then something that was kind of funny was we got up to leave because we'd already seen the credits and everything, but they kept the lights off.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe they expect you to kind of watch the credits.
It almost felt like it was a mistake though, because then as we were walking out, the lights went on very suddenly.
Like maybe they were late turning them
A couple
on.
minutes into the credits at a random time.
It was so dang dark in there. That was the darkest movie theater I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. In the US, the local movie theaters we have keep like dim lights on even during the movie.
Yeah,
that
so
aren't disruptive,
you
but
can
so you can still
see your
the
hand
gap.
in front of your face,
Yeah.
you know. I was going to say one more thing about their reaction.
The end. The to be continued.
Oh yeah, they did react to that. I don't think anybody knew that this was only part one.
Yeah.
I
Which
don't-
was the same in the US.
In the U.S. too, the people when we went early on, like when it was first released, I don't think anybody in the U.S. realized it was only part one. We knew. Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But I wonder if this came out here later than it did.
It
in
might
the
have.
US.
Yeah, it might have only been out a week or two.
For
Yeah.
that long.
So they were like,
Yeah.
because they didn't know it was only going to be because the to be continued comes on at the end. And then the last thing I wanted to say is, Megan said, "Why are these people going to this in English?"
Because like everybody we heard. spoke
Everybody we
German.
heard was German. I wouldn't be surprised if we were the only English-speaking people in that
Yeah.
movie. And I'm just as perplexed about that as she is. And she said, I almost wonder if it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Did they mean to come to it in English? Because the other reason that they might have been really quiet
It's because
is
they
because they didn't
understand
understand it. And their English is limited.
Yeah.
And they had to really concentrate to understand it.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that sometimes people will go to movies or watch TV shows. I mean, even in your French class,
Yeah.
your teacher will show you French TV to help you learn French when you were in high school.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's like my French class.
No, because TV and movies can be a good way to help
And
you learn
music.
a language and music. And I wonder if some German people like to go to movies so that they can practice their English
And also to hear the original songs.
in the original
Yeah.
voices and everything. Yeah. I did notice too when I was looking for a movie to go to today that there was an option to go to movies at certain places. I mean, not only in English or in German, but you could choose a showing that it was spoken in German, but the songs were in English.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So you could still
Huh.
hear the songs in the English, but the rest of the movie was spoken in German. And then I think I also saw someplace they had
Like
subtitles. Yeah.
The other thing, though, was I wonder if we can go to Conclave with English subtitles.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah.
But the other thing was there were only 2 evening showtimes at that big fancy theater. There was the 5 o'clock English and there was the 7:15 German. But there weren't any other showings.
no,
in the
there were.
evening. Oh,
There were. No, well, not in the evening. No, you're right.
No, not in the evening. So I wonder.
There was a 4:30 German.
Okay, but I wonder if maybe people
It's
could
long.
only go at a certain time.
Oh, yeah. And so they had to go to the
the 5
English.
o'clock.
Last thing. Boy, people come late.
Yeah, what the heck?
Oh my gosh. I mean, we got there half an hour before the movie started.
Yes.
We still only got to our seats at 5 o'clock because the dang line for the tickets took so long.
Even after I let like 3 people ahead of me go ahead of me in the concessions line, the people behind us kept asking, "Can we go ahead of you?
Our movie already
movie's
started.
Our movie has 4 minutes until
Yeah,
it starts."
we let people go ahead of us. We're like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Like, what the heck, guys?
But then even after we were in our showing, in our theater, there were still people coming
coming
in
in
long after the movie had started. And there had been 15, 20 minutes of ads and previews.
yeah. No, it was at least half an hour of ads and previews.
What the heck?
again, with Germans and their punctuality, the only time I've actually seen Germans be annoyed is when we are too slow for them,
Right.
apparently. And people on the trains, the train hasn't even stopped and they're pressing the button to get the door to open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay guys, chill for a sec.
Yeah.
But otherwise, everyone's slow and everyone's behind schedule.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's not what we were expecting.
No.
That was what our experience was like going to an English-speaking movie in Munich. We hope you found this interesting. Let us know if you have any interesting experiences of going to movies in other countries in the comments down below. And we'll probably make another video after we see Conclave too.
For sure.
Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you soon.